Hello, everyone. The SEO Club is back with your favorite, Dirk. Dirk is going to be talking to you about the thing you all requested, which is keyword research, keyword planning, and how we use keywords. What are keywords? What is keywords volume? How we use them in a content, in outreach. All of this will be covered by our Dirk. Dirk, welcome back to the channel.
Great to be back. Thank you, Ivana, once again. And sounds like it's going to be an interesting chat.
I'm sure it is. You are somewhat an expert. You even spoke about keywords and keyword clustering in Brighton SEO last year. From what I know, it was very, very popular. So I'm very happy you decided to talk to us about this. However, before we jumped into this topic that is evergreen and always very important, I would like to ask you what you think about the new fusion of Semrush buying everything lately, the search engine land. What's your view on this? I mean, in iGaming, we are used to fusions and people buying each other, companies buying each other all the time. For us, it's a normal thing. But in the SEO world, this is creating huge waves. So, what's your view on this?
I think the main things are twofold here. In the case of, SEMrush, they clearly have the funds to put money, to put money on things. Because from my experience as well, and what other people tell me is that they invest a lot as well. Example from keyword research, myself, I use Ahrefs mainly, but apparently from a database perspective, SEMrush invests significantly within their keyword research, just as they don't expose it the same way. But to go back with this acquisition, it's clear SEMrush want to be the one bullet for everything tool. The way I see it is, again, I'm focusing mostly on the brand. I think that was the thing we discussed in the calendar thing we discussed. And definitely here, what SEMrush are doing is building a brand, making sure that from a content and educational offering, they have that brand name. If you see their channel, they always get top YouTube brand name people to speak and educate. They don't just have internal people, they get external people to build on their brand. So this is all about making sure that they increase their credibility. EAT principles, they're just swallowing it up in this case, and they have the money to back it up. This is like Google's perspective, but obviously not that much money. But in the SEO world, they seem to have that. But I think it's going to affect us that much, say, from
No.
a gambling point of view, SEO. It's more for newbies, I feel.
As long as they keep up the good content on search engine land, because it's one of the things I follow and I regularly read, and as long as the platform of Semrush stays good and user friendly, then I don't think much of an impact. Maybe it will be even better. Sometimes when things merge together, there is more force, there is more knowledge, so might be even better. Let's see what comes out
One
of that.
promise they said, just to say it, is that despite the acquisition, the search engine land did actually emphasize that I think it's in the contract that they will remain as independent when it comes to news, analytics, insight that they share. That should not be changed. So hopefully the good stuff will remain.
Fingers crossed, because Search Engine Land is very educational for us
Yeah,
and comes up with lots of
agreed.
news and latest things going on. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And
Agreed.
back to keywords, which you already brushed up on talking about SEMrush, which is one of the tools we all use and we all know. We'll start slowly. What are keywords and why are they important?
So breaking it down, keywords are practically the search terms we put in within search engines or coming into AI slowly as well. But mainly it's the search terms that we put in when we search for something, the query that you put in when you're searching for within a search engine. So to understand how keywords are clustered is kind of the goal there. Before, in previous times, people obviously used to overindulge in keywords, just making sure a specific keyword is there a specific amount of time. I do believe that that day is gone with all the updates coming in, making sure Google and the search engines are trying to make the actual bots make more intelligent and not just read the percentage of a keyword, but making it smarter so that it's actually more digestible and more kind of useful for human intent.
And how would you go about keyword research? I know you created something on your end from which tools to use and how to use them, their pluses and minuses. So can you please take us through it? Which tools would you use and how would you use them? And what are the good points about the tools and which are the little bit of weaknesses of those maybe?
So before starting anything, you have to understand your audience. What's the audience and what is the search intent? You have to put yourself in their shoes and make sure you identify what sort of keywords are going to be searched. I'm going to discuss casino here in perspective, but you know that in casino there's no deposit bonuses. You have the different providers. You have to understand that the main topical keywords are going to be, and then you'd slowly create what we call secondary keywords or clustered keywords within that. So I would definitely start by first understanding and generalizing the main keywords. What are people going to search for when they want to find what you are providing? And don't extract 1,000 keywords initially. It doesn't work like that. Just make sure you understand your top main search intent keywords that people will search for to find you.
Okay, so you have decided to have an affiliate website. You want to concentrate on bonuses. You understand your market. Which tools would you use to understand what are the bonus connected keywords outside of just like your normal common sense?
So you have Google Keyword Planner, which is a free tool you can always start off with. So I'll never lean away from that. Now, in the case of third-party tools, there's always Ahrefs and Samrush, which go head-to-head. I am Ahrefs guy, I'm not sponsored with it, but I've been using that tool extensively for years. I know it's becoming ridiculously expensive, but so are other tools. But I use Ahrefs both from the tools perspective and both from the API integration perspective. I feel that even though they don't always give the most accurate, because they are third-party tools to start off, you would use that, get a global competitive research on the competitor keywords you're doing. And then once you actually have the site in place, it's Google Search Console. You need to understand the actual queries that are bringing you in, the actual clicks, because those you will be surprised do not align as much as you would think with third-party tools.
Very true, very true. Sometimes we actually going after keywords that look great, but in the end bring nothing. So how would you go about it? How would you understand that this keyword has got this huge keyword volume, but I will get out nothing out of it, and I rather go for the long tail keyword that brings me money? How would you plan this?
So you can't just go for a long tail keyword because you would say you have something with an average to relatively low search volume, but the competition is very low. So you say this is perfect for me. This is what I'm targeting. When it comes to that, you can't just go in and create your homepage content on that. You still have to create that pillar cluster kind of infrastructure of the site. You have to make it look natural. So if you're going to speak about €20 back no deposit bonus, you can't just create that as your front page. You have to create the cluster. You have to create first about the casino, then about the bonus structure systems, a different type of bonus, have a separate page for each type of bonus structure, and then you would have that dedicated page for it. Now, there are ways which obviously you want to make sure internal linking, in the case of any keyword, you have to make sure internal linking is following very strictly with the keyword research you're using. And that is the way I would start it for really any approach. But anyone thinking that listen, I'm going to go for this long tail keyword, just set all the content on that one page or something like that, it doesn't, that definitely won't work.
Basically we will have a bonuses as the parent site, right, or the parent page,
Yeah.
and then we would cluster around that to all the other bonuses: free spin bonus, no deposit bonus, cash free bonus or cashback bonus, whatever they are called. How would you link them in between to make sure that the internal linking structure is correct? What would be the logic behind this? Because I see these many times not in place at all or being done very wrongly.
So one thing you have to make sure that they do relate to each other. You don't want to force a thing. So if you're talking about something as very non-related, yes, sports, betting to a particular casino bonus, and they don't. There are bonuses in sport, but if they don't interrelate for a specific casino one, don't force a link. But what you want to do is make sure you try get creative. You know, that example, different providers provide specific bonuses. Make sure you include those, and then you would internally link that sort of bonus structure to that specific page that you want to direct it to. You have to make sure that first of all your pages are linked correctly, so you never want to have an orphan page. And in this case, you're always going to have kind of the sub pages that should always lead back to the parent page, and the parent page kind of leading to the sub pages. I would make it look as natural as possible. I wouldn't just force it and say these are all the the different types of bonuses, and they're all interlinked. I would have that maybe at the bottom of the page just as a last reference, but really within the content, you have to make sure you're creating useful, not thick content. I'm not a fan, especially with the AI, thickening your content as much as possible. The thing that everything needs to be 4 or 5,000 words. Try making sure your headers, titles, meta, meta description tags, canonical, ideally URL, have your main seed keyword. Once that is in place, that still works very well. And then you're going to start interlinking to from bonus page to no bonus page. In the case of interlinking as well, as opposed to off page, usually you don't want to be as aggressive. So if you're getting 10, 20, 100 backlinks, you don't want all of them to say the specific keyword that you want to rank for from a backlink, because that obviously looks very dodgy, doesn't look natural. In the case of internal linking, Google and everyone knows that you're the direct controller of this. So you actually want to make sure that if your no deposit bonus, whatever, 20 euros, make that your anchor link directly. Don't shy away of thinking, oh, I'm going to overdo it because I'm always using no deposit bonus. Internal linking in that case, I have never seen anyone being penalized specifically for that.
And internal links are there as much for humans to click and understand how to navigate within your website as much they're much for Google bots or other bots. So it's helpful for both, and it needs to be easy to navigate, needs to be logically linked, and I think then the anchor should be sort of optimized because it's within the page. It's not trying to manipulate the SERPs, it's helping the navigation, right? It's not going to help you gain authority on your website because you have two more internal links.
I don't believe so. I mean, in the case as well of keywords, remember there's going to be primary, which is the main one, and then as we usually have, you have the secondary keywords. While before it was quite a science, now you have to make it look more natural. I still believe you need to have that sort of structure to understand that this page is going to cater to this specific primary keyword, and these are kind of the funnel keywords that it's aiming at. I would not force into making sure that all my secondary keywords have to be exactly in that. I believe that the search engines are smart enough nowadays, but I do still emphasize the importance of having your primary keyword at least in your, again, your title, meta description, because it helps. Ideally, in your slug URL, that is still very helpful. And yeah, those would definitely be the main approaches there.
Very good. And how do you think that footer links are important, or would you use them for navigation? And if yes, when would you use them? I personally think they are great, especially like for
Definitely.
localizations. You cannot crawl them otherwise. But what is your view on that? Because a lot of people say no, it's spammy. Some people say no, you absolutely have to have them. And I think it goes hand in hand with keywords because I think those should be linking to secondary most important pages, not the ones that you put in your main menu, but the secondary
Exactly.
ones that you still want to push. Yet you shouldn't have 3,000 links in a footer. So I think there is
For sure.
a balance you need to create. But what's your view as an expert that done operators, done affiliation, you've seen it all. So what would you do?
I mean, I find it quite a bit dynamic. Yes, I would definitely have example. What I like to do is you're going to have the top five provide. I would have it in example 3 columns: top five providers, top five casinos, top five bonuses, and make sure that those top five relate to what you're trying to push traffic towards. So I feel that that is definitely the best way that I like to use footer links in that case. But having no, you don't want to make sure that you have all your structure within the footer. I mean, you want to make it as small, easily digestible as possible, and it needs to really don't be afraid to change it up. Like in the menu, usually your main menu is usually going to stay the same. The main foundation pages are there, maybe the important secondary ones, but then if you have other, I don't know, sub pages aiming for the long tail keyword, apart from within the content, yes, I would definitely have it in the top five, top something in the footer. Don't make it too long. That's why top five example, not top 10. Today with fully responsiveness, you can make it look very easy to read as well, digest on all sort of devices. So definitely very important.
Fantastic. Now we stay on page for a little bit longer. A lot of people love blogs and news. I find it that for operators, it's one thing because operator is sort of restricted on content, how much they can use on their pages, on football, whatever. Usually there is no space on the sports book because it's sitting in iframe and there is no content space. And on the casino, there is very little space. When you have the slots, usually on the slot page, there is no space for content. So I would recommend a blog there. But when it comes to affiliation, having a blog could be cannibalizing because you have lots of space in affiliate to create what is roulette and how to play and all of this. And this usually goes in blog in operators. How would you go about creating a blog for affiliate that does not cannibalize your main pages? What would be the supportive thing there?
I would favor against specific naming anything a blog. From the back end, it can be named that. But especially with the updates, I mean, you can see from Parasite SEO, the new updates coming in, anything blog related. I was involved with very much buying high authority blog domains on whatever sports. They were super
Yeah.
dominant, ranking very well, and adapted into sports betting, and that just shot up. That approach, while obviously can work in some cases as well. I know people that still works, but in the majority's sake, it does not work the same way anymore.
Mhm.
That's why it still needs to go down to building your brand. Rather than a blog, put in a training section. So if you still want to speak about Baccarat, you will have your main Baccarat with the bonus structure the game's provided in your main route, and then you have a training section, which the blog call
Okay.
it training tutorial section, and you're going to go through all the types of training methods on how to educate yourself in different Baccarat, the different strategies, the biggest winner, and you kind of labeling it out like that. You can either have it like that, or else if you're going to have more regular stuff, the news section. But again, I believe that casino wise got hit quite badly. I was involved where people were making a crap load of money from it, but it doesn't seem to work the same way as it was from a Google's news perspective. So I think the training education section, you're both building your brand as well. So around your, make sure your brand name of the website that you are is in the training material as well, and you're kind of separated from the educational side, so don't focus too much on converting. In that case, what you want to do is build that content and then lead the internal linking. It's a perfect case to internal linking to your main money pages.
All right. Well, I always thought that blog on affiliation is a little bit redundant, but if you do it this way, it's really interesting actually. And now we're finally getting to the off page because this is where lots of people get it wrong. We all are guilty of getting links to our sites not through the PR campaigns because for iGaming, no matter how much you try, some of them work, some markets work a little bit, but mainly it doesn't. Like try to run a successful PR campaign for casino in Finland is not going to happen. So we all resource to get links other way.
Yeah.
And now we are guilty of finally we got a good link from Finland and we're gonna call it casino and we're gonna, we over optimize the anchors. What would be your strategy to still rank, still bring the juice, still build up authority, yet not get a penalty? Because this is what we've seen lately quite a lot on page, off page, just bloodbath out there.
Remember that different backlinks have different power to them. So just because, say, you're going to get 10, 20, 50 backlinks a month, it doesn't mean that all of them are of equal power. So the ones that, through an SEO expert, can analyze as such, the ones that you know could potentially and would potentially bring you the most juice, make sure that those you're targeting as much the main keyword or the main topic that is discussed that you want to kind of make sure that the topic that the backlink blog is talking about, the post, is somehow related to the link, and kind of it relates back naturally to you. And you can, I would be more on the a bit aggressive than not aggressive. In the other links, make sure you're distributing the balance of it, making sure you're using general terms, your naked URL. This is why people exact match domains, keyword, they work like a charm. If you have to try buy a domain, exact match domains still work, and I still feel that they have the advantage over anything to kickstart you. Example, I'm gonna mention Casino Formal as a name. Okay, they're super. Bet365. If you manage to buy bet365.io, you can have them on your butt for sure, but you're gonna rank like hell until they do, right? Because that system still works like crazy. Don't buy Bet365 whatever, because
We are not supporting brand checking here. No, it's just a
absolutely
tip
not. Just
how to
as an
buy a domain. Yes, I
example.
get it.
But if you can manage to get bet365.e whatever, I guarantee you're going to rank much quicker than having to buy a random casino name without any thought.
Yes, yes, it's a very true. You need to be. It's all about the brand, as we keep saying, and last few years we see
Definitely,
it. Now, how would you go about the
definitely.
distribution of the backlinks? Because a lot of people just buying backlinks just to their front page and trying to distribute it with internal links. But I think if you are trying to rank different things, different pages, you can buy links to them or get links to them, acquire. Let's not call
Yeah.
it buy, acquire.
This is, I
And link
think,
internally. Let's say you have
yeah,
got an affiliation and you have got a very good deal with one casino. You can acquire links to this review to rank, right? Rather than trying to rank for online casino keyword. So you can rather try to rank on brand or on bonus or certain bonus coming with this brand casino rather than just the front page and trying to go for online casino or online casino reviews that are really hard to score for.
definitely. You don't want to initially, if it's a new site, you need to build up your backlink profile. You want to build as many high authority relative backlinks to your homepage. Yes, because you, again, it's like building a foundation. You want to make sure you're building a house on solid ground, not on sand. So making sure for the first couple of months or so you are investing, particularly in the route. But once you start to rank from the homepage perspective and maybe some other pages, see which ones are catching on, and then start distributing the backlinks to, yes, those specific pages. If you have a good deal with a specific operator, you want to give a push to their page, distribute. If you, I don't know, somehow get a couple of links, making sure that some of them are distributed towards them. And then, relativity's sake, it does help if the backlink is coming from a site that is hopefully relative to the same, somehow the same topic, and ideally the content being written is somehow related. You don't want to be talking about ducks and all of a sudden, yes, while waiting to catch a duck, I don't know, gamble. Those are very much the old style that definitely don't work.
Yeah, I love those. I mean, there is a specific agency I'm not going to name, but it's always 500 words, and he talks about, as I was talking through Copenhagen and admiring the agriculture architecture, I decided to gamble online in this casino. And it's like, no, man, you didn't. You didn't decide. No, you just bought that link. So natural placement of the link with natural anchor for that article, I would say, is very important.
And I think you've been given the best tool to do that. It's simple. You can always verify it. You can make it unique. I mean, this is where AI comes into play. AI is there to check stuff, double check for you, make it creative, make it easy to read. This is where AI is useful. You don't just go and write me a 2,000 words on online, because AI is crap for that stuff, or not crap, but not ideal. You want to verify your content, making sure if you want certain ideas, let it speak to it and let it guide you on specific things.
Fantastic. Have we forgotten anything important about
Yeah,
keywords?
maybe I know tools. I think we discussed. I mean, in the case of example keyword clustering, the last I had used, I had presented it when I was presenting at Brighton as well. One that particularly was of interest to me. I don't know if it's still as good, but I'll still recommend it. Keyword Cupid. That's one thing people should, yeah, take a look at. There's, I mean, SpyFu is always good. I think those are definitely the main ones. Nothing that is some sort of secret tool. Google Search Console. Just make sure
Oh,
you're
Google
on
Search
track
Console
on
is a
Google
gold.
Search Console. It's yeah, definitely be and all. And in the case, I mean, of backlinks as well, I don't believe that is the only way going forward. Things are evolving. Very important. I'm not saying anything, but again, this is where the case of brand social, you have to make sure you're getting traffic that is not only organic, whether it's direct, organic. This is where the brand come in place. Influencers, them talking about your brand, and Google saying that you're not just getting 90%, 100% traffic of organic, makes it look more authentic.
Absolutely. People love being social online. People love the interaction. So you shouldn't miss out on it, especially because SEO has changed from being a Google thing to being a multi-channel thing. Now we have got YouTube coming big, right? You have got Reddit that is stealing so much traffic, so you can use that in a very careful way because it gets closed like this. You still have got Google, you have got AI search coming in, so you need to play around. And I think the way to go forward and to survive in a future world of which is becoming more and more zero clicks, you need to have a very strong brand.
Definitely agree. Definitely agree.
Thank you very much. I hope we covered everything that people wanted to get from this episode. If not, again, there are comments and we can come back with episode 3 on keywords.
Definitely. Or
Thank
get
you
in
so much,
contact with
Dirk.
me or Ivana.
Bye. All right, now it needs to upload.